Hey guys, what's up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another double movie review, aka After I Saw. First movie I'm going to be reviewing is The Creator. This movie is directed by Gareth Edwards, who also directed the 2014 Godzilla movie and Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And this movie stars John David Washington as Joshua, as he is dealing with the loss of his wife during a tragic event that happened 5 years ago, and then 5 years later, he meets up with a young AI droid in which he has to escort to safety because she is known to be an ultimate weapon. And, a lot of people were anticipating this movie, though it wasn't advertised super well, so it's more than likely not going to do well at the box office, especially with Saw X and the sequel to Paw Patrol, the movie, because a lot of little kids are going to go see that, and Saw X, with the Halloween season being around, and with a lot of critics and audiences agreeing that it's one of the best Saw films in generations. So then, yeah, but I honestly recommend giving this a watch, because while it's not the masterpiece that Gareth Edwards has been trying to make it out to be, I appreciate it for being a sci-fi film that's not exactly part of a big franchise or anything like that, isn't trying to set up one, and if it bombs, then it's definitely not going to set up one. But I honestly hope that it doesn't get one, because it really doesn't need one, even though, it's not necessarily like a new sci-fi classic or anything like that. I was hoping that this movie was going to like blow me away, because the trailer really got me. And it is focused a lot on, emotional stuff going on. So Gareth Edwards does try to combine that together as best as he possibly can. And most of the emotional stuff does work, like John David Washington and this little girl, which he names Alfie. Yeah, they do tend to, have a, rocky relationship at first, but then, of course, later down the line, it gets much more deeper than that. So, yeah, that is mostly what the main focus is, though it does focus a lot on some sci-fi action, which is something that viewers were definitely going to expect, because, with him being the director of Rogue One, I did expect some sequences of action to be part of this film. And there is, and it can be entertaining. There are some times where it can get a little bit more violent than most PG-13 films, though it would have, the amount of blood you would see in a PG-13 film, though it honestly could have gotten an R rating. It honestly just feels like a PG-13 rated film that's been edited out from an R rated film, so yeah, but I don't know. But either way, the my main problem with this movie is that it's not as original as it's trying to make it out to be. I mean, it's basically your typical, guy going through a whole lot situation, but he meets up with a kid, and he brings a little bit of joy into him. So yeah, also the sci-fi element too definitely will remind you of Star Wars a little bit, especially the fact that Gareth Edwards directed Rogue One. So yeah, it does feel that way. It does have, kind of the same-ish world as that, except there's no lightsabers or anything like that. It is visually stunning, especially when it comes to the look of the androids, how the back of their heads, have holes through them, and yeah, so that's really the most impressive piece of the entire film, though it is slightly too long. A little over 2 hours is a bit much, but I can't necessarily say there was a whole lot to the film that I didn't really like all that much, other than it not being the most original sci-fi film that Gareth Edwards is trying to make it to be. But in the end, I still had myself a decent enough time with The Creator. It still has the emotion that it's trying to bring out, and it does pull at your heartstrings a little bit, as long as you're caring enough, which I did care a little bit. Just, I feel like this is done a little bit better in other deep emotional films, going through taking one person to another, The Last of Us, anyone. But still, nonetheless, I appreciate what he did here, and for the most part, it may be very familiar to other sci-fi films, but I appreciate him for at least trying to do something a little different instead of just adapting it from something else. Next movie I'm going to be reviewing is Dumb Money. This film was... I actually wasn't sure if I wanted to review this, because it has stuff that, I'm not really used to, bringing up. Because of course this is about the whole GameStop situation that happened back in late 2020, early 2021, about GameStop and stock prices going up and going down. But of course, a YouTuber that goes by the name of Roaring Kitty, of course, manages to bring that, to a whole another level, and people get super obsessed with it, and people have been talking about the controversy, and it happens throughout a lot of the movie. It's also based off a book about this whole situation, so yeah, I'm not really going to get into that whole GameStop situation because I didn't really pay attention to a whole lot of it because I don't really get into all that. But I can say about the movie itself is that it is ridiculously entertaining. I laughed throughout a lot of the movie, and while it is supposed to take on some serious topics, really though, the movie never manages to slow down when it comes to its humor, and for the most part, it is really spot on. Like, there is a lot of inappropriate dialogue here and there, and for the most part, it does tend to work out really well. And I love how the movie just makes out to be how people can get so obsessed with this situation, and the fact that this one guy just managed to become a big part of it, and he was just doing streams and stuff, and he has a family of his own. So it really impressed me how, a lot of people managed to take this kind of stuff and just make it a massive thing, which I'm pretty sure it was, but I didn't really get into that whole GameStop situation, but yeah. I will say this though, is that some parts can get a little repetitive as they show a montage about memes and stuff, with TikTok clips and stuff. That happens like 2 or 3 times, and it kind of got old with what's going on in the movie. But other than that, I had myself a really fun time with this one. Like, it may be based off true events, but it does manage to focus a lot on humor. Seth Rogen's also in the movie, who is also really good in the film. Yeah, performances, everybody manages to do a very comedic job, but also keeping that seriousness as a whole just at the right parts. So yeah, I had fun. I was invested with the storyline, and all in all, it's a biopic that I can say is one of the most humorous ones that I've seen in quite a while, and one that never manages to slow down with its entertainment, nor with its biographical storyline. I guess that actually was pretty easy for me to review, so there you go. Exorcist Believer comes out this week. I will be seeing that. I'm actually seeing a re-release of The Exorcist tomorrow, or it might have, well, whatever. I'm seeing a re-release of that. I did a review for that movie last year if you want to check it out. So yeah, Halloween's coming up. I do have horror movie reviews planned though. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing as many horror reviews, mainly just due to the fact that, I don't know, I have a lot on my plate right now, though I don't think I'm going to be seeing as many movies this month. I mean, there is a lot that I am going to be seeing. I will be seeing Killers of the Flower Moon and Five Nights at Freddy's and all those other films, but yeah, I don't really need to be talking about all this in a review. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.